Hello and welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today we're going to show you how to disassemble the new GE washer and dryer combo. So first thing you want to do is you want to move the filter, pull it out, press that little button there, it'll just pull right out. And then the dispenser, you'll just press the button in here and pull out. And I'm having a little trouble, as you can see, so push it down a little bit harder in the back. And the same thing with the bottom one, just push down and pull out. So now you're going to take a Phillips head, you're going to remove the 4 hidden screws. Actually there's 5. I recommend just using a hand tool, but this is what you have to do to remove the display to get into the unit. So you have one there on the left, and as you can see you have to kind of line it up and press into it. And then we'll take this one out, and we have one on the right, and then one at the bottom. Eventually I'll show you here soon. So here's the one at the bottom left. It's kind of hidden, but you have to remove this also. It's actually a smaller size than the other one, so when you take these screws out, just make sure you separate it in a nice little pile so you kind of know where they go. So now since we have all the screws removed, we're going to pull this forward a little bit and kind of towards your left and out, and then you're going to press towards your right to undo the clips. So towards you and towards your right. It's kind of clipped into the side. I'll show you in a moment. As you can see here, these two, well, disassemble that, but see these little clips up top and bottom, they're slid in, so you have to move it towards the right to get that off. And then we just have to disassemble all the harnesses that connects to the display control board. So now we'll just go ahead and disassemble. They should have like a little press in clip where you press in and pull out. Definitely when you take these off, don't pull on the wire itself, because you can actually yank the wire from this harness, and then when you put it back together, something's not going to work right. So just take your time. This is a little thermistor that you can actually just pull out. Let me show you. So if you ever get a thermistor error code for your dryer, there it is, real simple to replace. So I'm going to put this somewhere safe. Definitely you don't want to drop it. Very expensive part, but either or. Here's the gasket we're going to remove, and actually I already took the spring off this gasket. I can leave a video at the end of this video to show you how I put it on. It's a real quick video, but push this in and pry it out, and like I said, I'll show you how to put it on. I'll leave a video at the end so you can see how easy it is, but everything else will be on the video. So you have a couple screws here at the bottom we're going to have to remove. There's one there, there's one in the middle, and one at the right. So you have to take these screws off to remove the panel. So a little sideways ratchet works real well, especially if you have a little kick plate under it. It's kind of hard to get to. So if you don't have this kick plate, you can actually put like a brick or something underneath it to hold it up, whatever you have laying around the house. So let's go ahead and remove these 3. So now we're going to remove the 4 Phillips screws here on the top, and this holds the front door to the housing of the unit. So let's go ahead and get these out of the way. Make a separate little pile so you know exactly where to go. If you have to, take a picture, even label a bag, put them in a bag. Before we pull this off, we're going to have to take this rubber boot off our gasket and put this inside of it. That way when we pull the door off, it doesn't hold on to the gasket and it may rip it. So we'll put that in. Yeah, basically this job we had a bad drain pump, so that's what I'm doing on this repair actually. Is I'm going to show you how to replace the pump, but you have to take it apart to replace the pump, unfortunately. So you have these two on the side too that actually holds the front door to the housing of the washer. So remove these. This big one is separate, so you'll put that on the right. So you basically lift up and pull forward. So like little grooves on the side of the housing of the washer, it kind of slides down into. And as you see here, there's a door switch. You could have took that off before. Actually, I'd take that back. I would have took that off before I removed the door, but I just took it off there. So let's go ahead and remove the top panel. I'm just going to show you exactly what's going on up here. You don't have to take this off to replace the pump. Like I stated, this is what the video is for, how to replace the pump, but I'm just going to take this off just to show you what's underneath, and if you ever have to get to the main control board or valve or so forth, you'll know exactly. So you slide it forward and lift straight up. It's kind of a wobbly top, but you might need help, but this is all the extra gadgets. So here's your blower here. That's where the mister went into. Dispenser, your main board and valves in the back. Let's see if I can get a better view. There's your main board, and your valve is actually way here in the back. So everything is definitely compact. So if this is a simple drain pump replacement, I would do it, but there's your blower. You could probably replace that. Compact machine. Here's the pump. So this is what went out. We have open line on the pump, meaning the winding is open line. So that's a bad pump. It should read 20 to 30 ohms, I would say. And I'll show you here soon in the video what it should read. So you'll take a Phillips and a sideways ratchet, and you have two Phillips screws, one on the left, one on the right, and then basically we'll just have to disconnect the hoses that goes to the pump where we then can remove it. Make sure you have the water out before you do replace this pump, if that's your problem, or if you're just watching this video just to figure out how to disassemble this thing. So when I remove these clamps, or not remove them, but just to take them off to remove the hose, I like to use these vice grips. That way I can adjust it, and once I squeeze, I can basically let go and not have to worry about holding the clamp in the whole time. I guess that makes sense. Then you can actually just leave it on there, but see how easy it is to wiggle and just adjust and move without worrying about holding the clamp down the whole time as you're trying to take the pump off. So if you have these laying around the house, definitely recommend it. It'll make the job easier. You can actually just leave it on there, so when you put the new pump on, you can have your clamp already ready to go. So I'm going to use this little set here. Same concept. I'm going to squeeze it. That way I can have free hands to move it around. See, I'm just going to pull it off, and it simplifies everything. So now I'm going to remove the other Phillips screw. This is what's holding the pump housing into the, I guess, housing of the machine. So if you have a little side wrench, ratchet kit, you know, 1/4 with your quarter bit in there, not quarter bit, the Phillips bit, that would do the job. So at this point the pump is disassembled, it's pushed back, and just kind of wiggle it out of there. You gotta angle it the correct way and disconnect your two harnesses that's connected to the pump. Take a picture, just make sure you put it in the right, each harness in the right spot. Here soon I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I took them off without showing you, but you have two little harnesses on the right hand side of the pump that you have to remove. So the pump can get its power. So here's the old one. I'm going to take these off. So here's a new pump. If you do need this pump, I will leave this in the description below. And this is the same pump for any GE washer, like for this model, I would say. So let me show you exactly what's going on. If you have a multimeter, you can test it, test the windings. I believe this one, I don't know the exact resistance this should be, but let me just show you. Any type of winding or motor should not be open line or something crazy like that. It should be, I think, around 20. Let me see, I'm probably off. Yeah, but as you can see, we got resistance there, nothing crazy. And here we have a lot. So anywhere from 10 to 20 ohms is good. So now we're going to go ahead and install the new pumps. I'm going to take these off and just use the ones I already have in here. So just go into, like, I guess a sideways angle just to get it in there, and just take your time, not rip nothing in the process. And once you line it up correctly, it's pretty cut and dry from there. So like I stated, with these vice grips, it's easy to keep a hold of the clamps. So you slide it into the left, and then you'll, actually I need to put the pump into place first. You put the pump in the two holes in the front. They have two little holes there that lines up with the pump. Let me see if I can show you. See that? Well, these already have them on there since it's a new pump. I'm just going to use the ones on the machine. We'll have to pop those off. And sorry for the angle. It's kind of a hard spot to get a camera in. So let's do this again. I'm going to line up the pump to the front of the washer, the two holes, and then we'll line up or slide it into that little screw on the left. Let me push that in. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and connect everything, the two screws and the hoses. So now we're going to reconnect the hoses. Pretty easy because like I used the vice grips, so like I said, it's pretty easy once you use the vice grips, and it actually helps you align everything. So I can press forward on the hose towards the pump and make sure it's nice and even before I release it. And let me see, I'm going to put it over the pump. There we go. And then I'm going to slide it forward. Then I can just release the vice grips once everything is nice and perfectly around it. Once you put these hoses back on too, you can actually put some water in the tub of the machine before you put everything back together to make sure you have no leaks. Last thing you want to do is put the machine back together and find out you have a leak and have to take it apart again. So gently release the vice grip and then check it out, make sure it's nice and perfectly around and not kind of on there. So here I'm actually, I don't like it, so I'm going to adjust it just a little bit more just to make sure everything's correct. Definitely don't want to flood no one's home. So I'm going to put my camera in here to see if I can give you a good angle So yeah, here we go. So as you can see, it's perfectly around. It's not sideways or nothing like that. It's not going to pop off. That's basically what you want. So same concept. I'm going to install the other one. Put this back over here. And we'll just slide it over the pump. This is the output of the pump, which goes to the wall. I'm going to make sure it's nice and aligned before I release the clamp. Once I line it up, I'll just release it slow so it doesn't move, and check it out, make sure it's good. And now I have to connect the power to the pump. And you can take a picture of this before you remove it, make sure you know exactly which one goes where. Let me slide these on. Kind of a hard angle to get to. This is a door switch. You could remove this before you remove the door. And I was a little confused at first, like, does this go one way or the other way? And it actually can only go one way, so I just put this in the video so you wouldn't worry about that, because I was a little worried. I was like, I'm putting this the wrong way, but it can actually only go one way. So just in case you want to take that off before you remove the door. There's 2 screws in the front. So now let's put the door back on the front. So I like to line it up first, make sure no harnesses or anything is in the way where I'm going to cut them or yank on them or anything like that. So that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make sure everything's out of the way. So these little slide grooves on the, they kind of just, you lift up. Let me see, there's a door switch. So you can actually put that in or take it off before you move the door, and you can actually put it on before you put the door on. Put the 2 screws in. I should have done that. It would have been way easier if I just put 2 screws to hold the door switch, but anyway, lift up on the door, slide it up, and then you're going to push against the machine and slide it down the machine. That way it slides into the grooves of the front door. These things are in the way though, so let me put them up so I don't end up cutting the wire. So you're going to lift up, press it against the housing of the washer, and then slide down. And then this gasket, you can actually pull it outwards, that way it doesn't rip. So if you have 2 hands or another set of hands to help you, even better. I'm doing this by myself, so it's not the easiest, but it's doable. So my camera died, so I had to do a reversal part at the beginning of the video. So this is beginning of the video but reverse, but you gotta make sure you put your screws back where you basically took them off. So we'll put everything back together. So if it looks a little weird, that's what's going on. I just reversed the beginning of the video so you can remember how to put everything back together. So make sure this is all the way out, flipped in, and if the door is not on right, it won't be flush with the screws on top. So that's how you know if you got the door on correctly, if the screws on top are basically aligned with the frame and everything goes in smoothly. So we'll make sure you put all these back together, and then the 2 on this side, they're all there. And then we'll do the bottom, and that's pretty much it. You got the point. So in here you're going to reconnect your display, so it's kind of the opposite of the way you took it off. So just reconnect all your harnesses. Before you take this apart, you can actually take a picture, but I think they're all pretty much dummy proof, but Sometimes I still take pictures myself, just you never know. So once you get all the harnesses in and put your thermistor back in, this is the thermistor for the blower wheel, which controls or senses the heat. So make sure that it's pushed all the way in there flush. And once you have all your harnesses together, we'll slide everything in to place. So to put this display on, you're going to start at the right hand, kind of at an angle, pull it towards you, and then press and slide it towards your left. It should click in flush. So not that way, this is a reverse video. But you'll press it towards this left, and you'll press this in where it'll click, and then you'll just reconnect your Phillips screws. So the top two are actually different than the bottom two, and then the one at the very bottom left, like this one, this is the tiny one. So that's why you definitely should mark it or take pictures or make sure they're in the right spot. So this one is one by itself, the bottom, and then the two above it are different than the two on top. So just make sure you separate them and not mess those up. Okay, so since we have all the screws in, nice and snug but not too tight, we'll go ahead and put our dispensers back in. Just press the button, press in. This is a reverse video, so that's why you kind of see me struggle a little bit, but just press the button down and press in, and put your air filter back in. And that's it. Well, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave in comments below. If you need the drain pump, I'll also leave that in the description below. And if you could just do me a favor, hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, you can also do that. And that's pretty much it. Have a good day. Bye.